Michelle, who's on the line in Ithaca, New York. Michelle, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
I am living the dream, Michelle. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Good.
So we're in the research stage. My husband knows what he wants to do. He just doesn't know how to get there. He wants to be a crop farmer, but we're having trouble finding rented land. So we thought he could start his own business doing like consulting and helping farmers become more efficient and increase their crop yields. But he doesn't want to make his current boss feel shafted because that's what he does now for another company.
Okay, whoa. Okay, hold on. So he is your husband. He does consulting for farmers for another company?
Yes.
And he wants to go hang his own shingle and do it for himself so he can make more money and then get himself in a position to buy his own land and do it himself.
Exactly, yes.
How much more money does your husband believe he's going to make if he does this on his own as opposed to staying with his current company?
He thinks he could make like 20, 30, 40,000 more.
Okay. All right. And so then the issue is he doesn't want his current boss to feel shafted.
Yeah, just because he would be taking away income that could go to his boss's company.
Well, wait a second. How is that going to happen? Is he going to steal some of his current clients?
He thinks that he could because a lot of the clients that he works with now, he's established good relationships with.
Yeah.
Or maybe,
yeah, but see,
he should be.
That's not right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just interrupting you because that's just simply not right.
Okay.
There's one thing I tell people: don't feel guilty about leaving a company to go do what you want to do to further the plan. But in this situation, that's a big difference. Like he's talking about leaving, and he's kind of the face for a lot of these clients. Am I right?
Yes.
And he thinks when he leaves that these people are going to say, "Hey, whoa, where are you going?" And he goes, "Well, I'm going over here, and I'm going to do the basic thing I'm doing for you. I'm just going to do it for myself." And they're going to go, "Well, we want to come with you." And he's going to feel bad about that, and he should feel bad about that.
Yes.
That's stealing clients.
Right, and he doesn't want to do that.
So don't do that.
Okay.
So now, how would he go about doing that? He would have to say, I mean, it's a really tricky situation. I don't like it at all. So he'd have to do it in a way that he didn't tell those folks what he was doing. Just saying, hey, I'm moving on to a different opportunity, but I'm going to train my replacement, and my boss and the leadership of this company are going to continue to take great care of you. It has to be completely confidential because it's not right. And then he would have to go start his own thing.
Okay.
Now, the question is, could he do that and still make the money? It's one thing to take somebody else's clients and make more. Right? It's another thing to go out, hang your own shingle, and get your own clients. So I would be very cautious about this decision because this is all about what he wants to do is get to a position where he makes enough money to be able to then rent some land. Am I right? That's the next play?
Yes.
Well, if it's just about making $20,000 or $30,000 more, why wouldn't he? I would have him turn over more rocks in that industry. There's got to be a place where he can do that.
Okay.
I mean, I just
Even
wouldn't.
Though the startup would be more.
Say that again.
We were thinking the consulting because the startup is like just what's in your brain, So it's not like a financial cost, whereas a lot of other businesses in agriculture require a lot of money.
Yeah, but I didn't say that.
And we don't borrow money.
I didn't. Okay. Yes, I agree with you 100%. I don't want you to borrow money. What I'm saying is I would get a little bit more creative and exhaust all research possibility. You said you're in the research stage, and that's what I love because you got to look and look and look and look. I'm saying he goes to work for somebody else, but he gets himself a promotion in going to work for somebody else. Okay. And he says, and he goes and does something in the industry. So he stays in the industry. So he's learning, he's doing and connecting. That's what proximity, he needs to stay in the industry. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, look for outside opportunities where he's getting a $20,000 or $30,000 bump, possibly. I just don't know that he's exhausted everything. All right. Now, the second thing is, how valuable do you think he is to this current company? If he were to leave and not take clients, would just leave, period, how would his current leadership feel about that? Would they just be like, whoa? Or would they be like, no problem, we can replace him? How valuable is it?
It would be very hard for them to recover.
Then I think he needs to sit down. When was the last time he got any kind of a bump?
He's gotten like a $5,000 to $10,000 raise every year for the past 3 or 4 years, but he didn't get a raise this year.
Did they tell him why?
His boss is actually thinking about retiring and leaving the business behind, but we don't know what's going to happen to the business.
Leaving the business behind to who?
We don't know that either.
Sounds like, okay, so now this whole thing changed. Let me tell you what I think. If your husband were on the line, this is what I'd tell him. He needs to go sit. He needs to go have a sit down with the boss and go, hey, obviously we've all heard this isn't a secret, I'm guessing. And
It's not a secret.
yeah, he needs to sit down and say, hey, obviously I've heard you're leaving. This is where I eventually want to be. And I want to keep growing professionally because as I grow professionally, I grow financially. And as I grow financially, I'm going to be able to eventually go out on my own. Who are you leaving the business to? Is it a family member? Is it, what's the situation? Is he going to sell it to somebody else? Your husband has every right to have that conversation with his leader. And let's just have a man-to-man. Hey, what are you thinking? And the reason I'm asking is because here's where I want to go. I've served you and you've rewarded me. And I'm grateful for how you've rewarded me. But I'm thinking about doing this. How does all of your uncertainty, how does that affect me? What would you do if you were me? Like, have a good, healthy conversation there. Let's see where this guy stands, because maybe your husband gets in on that deal. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe you combine, you just gotta, he has to turn over every rock right now. And so that's specifically a conversation I'd have. I mean, like this week, I would have that conversation while you're continuing to look in other places. And if he's that valuable to this guy, and this guy has an exit strategy that involves the business being viable, your husband becomes really valuable overnight when the guy learns that, hey, I'm not here forever. I may be leaving sooner rather than later, and I'm a little uncertain about all this because of your plans. See, that's not shady. That's just good old-fashioned communication.